Rehat Mehmet Ari Iban music video review. Hari tu aku kat berkongsi like 3 movie that I feel you should watch if you want to be a better director, a better videographer, basically a better pembuat video. First one, let's just get right to it lah. The first one is 12 Angry Men. 12 Angry Men was a movie like way back then. Hold on, let me get the details. So 12 Angry Men was made in 1957, black and white movie too. But don't let that scare you. Even though it's black and white, this is a really good movie. This movie was directed by Sidney Lumet. Sydney, gang Sydney. Basically, the story is about 12 orang juri. In Malaysia, we don't have juries. This is based in US where they have to decide whether they convict the pesalahnya, convict the defendantnya betul-betul bersalah ke si, to send this boy or this pesalahnya defendantnya untuk dihukum atau tidak. Did he really do it? Basically, after they see all the evidence and they presented by the peguam apa semua. And the thing about death penalty is, murder charge is, you have to be unanimous. You cannot be like 11 orang. It's not a democracy. It has to be unanimous. It has to be cun-cun mesti 12 orang semua setuju. So it's interesting, kan? So that's the movie. That's what the movie is about. And why is it I recommend if you want to be a videographer or video like film director or something like that? This film is a masterclass in blocking. Blocking is basically how do you position your actors within the frame, how do you use the space to not just make sure that they are seen, but also to convey character, to convey how they feel based on their position in relative to the camera. Where you position your character within the frame matters, and this is a masterclass of that. Just by the position of the actors within the frame, you can see how they feel towards each other. Of course, this is 1950s, so the techniques are a little bit old, but they still work today. If you know how to execute it well, tambah with a little bit of camera movement, you can make it even more interesting. What's interesting about this movie, why is it a masterclass in blocking, is because most of the movie, about 90%, 98, 95% of the movie, 12 guys in one room for 90 minutes. So how do you make a story about 12 guys in a room for 90 minutes interesting? And I promise you, you just tahan watch the first 10 minutes, your mind will adapt, your mata would adapt to it, and you will really get into the story. So if you've never seen this movie, I recommend you must watch it. Another movie that I really recommend and I believe should have gotten a sequel, but you know, silaku, but it's a good movie for you to see if you want to be a film director. So the movie is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, made by David Fincher. It was released in 2011. So if you like Daniel Craig as James Bond, well, this is basically Daniel Craig as a detective. You like him in Knives Out as a detective, this is him also as a detective. So it's a very interesting movie. I do have to warn, it's a, you know, if you're under 18, you cannot watch this. It's a bit brutal, but I feel like the story is very interesting, and the way David Fincher slowly tell the story to show you what's really going on and the revelation towards it. This is like masterclass in directing and also in editing, where less is more basically. The story is a bit slow, but really stick with it, and you have to really pay attention to the story. Then you really appreciate all the small details in the movie lah. If you watch the movie kan, it doesn't feel like it has a lot of CGI or visual effects, but actually David Fincher is known for his use of extensive visual effects. Some of the shots in the movie are entirely visual effects, but you won't be able to notice it. Now this is brilliance. In all the movie that you see in movies like Marvel, no, memang terang-terang CGI kan, but David Fincher use it in a way that you don't even see it. Kadang-kadang ya just use the CGI ya untuk tambah tinggi sikit pokok ya, or untuk hilangkan certain thing, untuk hilangkan the track macam ya, small things, but it adds up, and that's why his movie looks very clean. Pergerakan kameranya just very discipline, nya ada terlalu bergegar ke apa ke, everything is clean, perfect. David Fincher is known to be very perfectionist, so Interesting movie. Really watch it. I really recommend it. The last movie is a personal favorite number one movie of mine. It is Apocalypto by Mel Gibson. It was released in 2006. For me, this movie is my definition of a perfect movie. My definition of a movie that if I were given a chance to do and have the capability to do, this is the kind of movie I would want to do. The story, the acting, the production design, the editing, the music is just like, this is, for me, this is the perfect movie, Apocalypto. Really think about, when you see the movie, you can really think about how did they shoot that? How did they find the stuff? And the whole movie, they don't westernize it. They don't like, oh, it's a movie about the Mayan culture back then. They don't change the language into the whole movie jadi English. No, they try to actually use the language. So you need subtitle lah, but that's part of the experience. And it feels more authentic like that. So if I were to make a movie about culture Iban yang dulu, I wouldn't change it to bahasa Melayu tiba-tiba. I would make sure that it's as authentic as possible. Of course, you cannot be 100% for creative reasons and all that, but at least they try. And if you look at the behind the scenes of the movie, also very extensive. And actually, Mel Gibson is actually a really good director. He really knows how to tell a story impactful way. Also, another thing, most of the actors in the movie are beginner. So how do you as a director help to guide the actor to be like a really good actor and really express the character in the movie? That's not easy to do. That's why I really love this. There's one scene where the main character has to save the wife from I shouldn't tell more. You just go watch the movie. If you really want to be a better film maker, a videographer, anything to do with video, these are good examples of really good work and things that a lot that you can learn from these movies. So if you've watched all three, do comment down below what do you think of it and what else did you find interesting about the film. So maybe next video I share the 3 mini series or TV series that I recommend, or maybe 3 local movies. I don't know, which one would you like to know?